So what I'm thinking is that in between my major uploads, I make slightly less effort uploads that are shorter so that you guys don't get bored waiting for my bigger ones. That being said, after my Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 videos, I've been kind of, being unproductive? Making one essay video and an update? This is not my standard, guys. I don't know what to say now. I'm sorry. Monkey Squad on top, get beamed by Monkey Squad. Anyway, after the Sonic Adventure video series, I've just been kind of playing a lot of other games that aren't Sonic. I know that this background footage doesn't really help my point, but just hear me out here. And one of those games has been the Souls series, especially Dark Souls. Seriously, this game is straight fire. For those of you who somehow don't know, Dark Souls is the first in a long trilogy of games where you fight tough bosses and also have a cool story too. You know, that's pretty cool. Okay, so first you start in this asylum where you have like zero idea what you're doing, and this knight breaks you out. He's pretty cool. After you promptly loot his corpse, you escape the asylum, and then all of a sudden, this happens. This big, fat demon appears. This blew my mind. After you promptly beat this demon, the game really shows you all the other bosses in the game. There's the Grim Reaper, the sickest knight in video game history, and a tree. Who in their right mind decided to make a tree one of the final bosses? These bosses are well designed and are always super fun to fight. The way you fight these bosses are really engaging. Dodging at the right time and then promptly punishing. Speaking of punishing, this game introduced me to one of my favorite mechanics in video game history. The parry. By pressing the left trigger on your controller, you suddenly gain access to the biggest "No You" card in the history of video games as a whole. It requires timing to understand and get into the motion of. At first it may be difficult to understand the timings, but after practice, it will come second nature. What really surprises me is that the parry is inherently a very simple mechanic. It really just boils down to press one button, then press another one. But how this game tackles the simplicity of the "No You" is really engaging. I wrote a whole essay on the parry for my language arts class. You know, let's see what my letter grade was. Well, as I said previously, the story is a very important part of Dark Souls. But what exactly makes the story so compelling? Well, as all stories do, it starts at the beginning. At the start of the game, you are told about an age of darkness, which pretty much just had dragons, rocks, and big trees. But things really start getting interesting with the start of the age of fire. In Dark Souls, fire represents a lot more than just really hot gas. Fire represents souls, which are the driving plot and currency of the Souls games. From the first flame, where the fire came from, there emerged many races and creatures. 4 beings came into contact with what are known as Lord Souls: Gwyn, King of the Gods, the Witch of Izalith, Nito, First of the Dead, and lastly, the furtive Pygmy. The soul of the Pygmy, also known as the Dark Soul, was used to create humanity, and from humanity emerged the Abyss. But all that is really complicated, so it won't be covered. Anyway, with the power of the Lord Souls, Gwyn assumedly created the goddamn sun and started the Age of Fire, signaled by the defeat of the dragons with the help of every race, as well as Seath the Scaleless, a dragon who betrayed his kind to get revenge on them for casting him out for his lack of scales, which gave the dragon immortality. Knowing that the scales of dragons are the resistance from dying, Gwyn and the witches developed powerful miracles and sorceries to strip the dragons of their scales and finally kill them. However, this Age of Fire did not last well, as eventually the first flame began to fade. Knowing that the flame will need fuel to burn, Gwyn, the all-powerful god who created the sun, sacrifices himself by licking the flame to keep the Age of Fire burning. This plot of the game is truly legendary. Adding on to this insane story, the environments further exemplify it. One of my favorite themes of Dark Souls is the idea of many empires rising and then falling, only for that to happen again and again and again. Essentially, the idea that many cities has risen and fallen in Lordran, and I think that's best exemplified in areas such as the depths. Upon first look, it's just an ordinary sewer. You go a bit deeper, and moving on. Find Blighttown, a nasty area connected only by shoddy scaffolding and poisonous swamps. After conquering Blighttown, you go even deeper, traveling to basically the depths of hell itself. This game really wanted to make a statement, and it succeeded incredibly well. These areas have been one of my biggest fascinations with Dark Souls, just how deep it goes. There's the Catacombs, then the Tomb of Giants, there's Blighttown, and then there's Lost Izalith. It shows how much time they put into storytelling. This game's world is woven and beautifully interconnected through a series of levels. Through Firelink Shrine, you can go to the Catacombs, Undead Burg, and New Londo. Undead Burg takes you to the Undead Parish, and the parish takes you back to Firelink Shrine? The hub area? This is the stuff I'm talking about. If you chose the Master Key as your keepsake, you can go through New Londo and to the Valley of Drakes. Through the Valley of Drakes, you can just skip this thing and go straight to Blighttown. Remember the Tomb of the Giants? If you look to the left, there's a cool area that you can see from afar. Wait a second. That's not any cool area. That's the Demon Ruins. Seriously, I can't stress enough how much effort they put into this world to make it feel this way. Now these areas are cool and all, but one stands out above them all. You've made it. This is the end. The very depths of the world. It's barren yet beautiful. The only things that even pose a threat here are a single Hydra. There's nothing else here, except... Go a little further and... you find an everlasting dragon. Didn't they die out? I guess not. Let's look around Ash Lake. The terrain is very small, surrounded only by an infinite ocean of water going on for miles. In this ocean, arch trees are littered everywhere, supporting the fog and, by extension, the entire world. The entire world is supported by these arch trees in Ash Lake. You can even see them in the Tomb of the Giants. For how much we do not like this area, the lore implications are insane. Let's take a small detour. The Kiln of the First Flame. As the name states, this was where the first flame was created. It's a very foreboding area, yet somber. Surrounding where the first flame was created are mountains and piles of ash. The only thing between you and the first flame are scattered black nights. As you enter the Kiln of the First Flame, there are a lot of stakes in the ground. But these aren't stakes. These are dragon remains. This is all that remains of most of the everlasting dragons. It's here. It's all here. Anyway, I've talked about a lot of topics in this video so far, but there's one topic that I haven't talked about yet. It's the main reason why Dark Souls is such a revered franchise at all. It's the main reason you're able to progress. That's right. It's... Artorias is often touted as the hardest boss in the original Dark Souls. He's fast, agile, and can lead into combos easier than a Smash 4 Mario player.
That was crazy. He got the leg slip into a... Oh my!
In my opinion, this is the best boss in Dark Souls. This is the peak of the game's boss design. He has a number of moves, all of which test your aggression. In order to beat him, you must be mindful of his attacks and know when to be aggressive. This boss could pass off as a Dark Souls 3 boss with how fast it is. But for how fast this boss is, there's an empty feeling to it. Like you're not fighting him at his full potential. His left arm is limp, for God's sake. He could be much, much stronger. But at the sorry state he's in right now, it doesn't seem so. This isn't Artorias the Abyss Walker. This is just Artorias. There's so many things I like about this boss. This fight took me hours to beat, and after I finally beat him, it felt great. What didn't feel great, on the other hand, was ruthlessly murdering his giant dog. Great Grey Wolf Sith. This boss is undoubtedly one of the saddest bosses in video game history. There's a bunch of lore on why this boss is sad, but even if you avoid that, it's just a dog, man. You'd be insane to kill a dog. This boss is simple. Has a couple moves with its sword. Many of them are pretty telegraphed and easy to dodge. Hold on! That's Artorias' moveset. This boss guards the grave of its master, Artorias, aka the guy we talked about earlier. After you do enough damage to Sif, though, it whimpers and gains a limp, just like Artorias. That hurts. These bosses are great mechanically and emotionally, which leads me to the other magnum opus of Dark Souls boss design, Ornstein and Smough. Ornstein and Smough take the classic trope and subvert it. Smough is slow and heavy hitting, and Ornstein's fast and nimble. This fight is brilliant. You can go either for Smough and avoid Ornstein's Luigi wave dashes, or go for Ornstein and not get beaten to a pulp. And this boss is great, since both characters perfectly complement each other's moveset, and also teaches you the importance of not locking onto a single target. After killing one of them, the boss should naturally result in you killing the other one normally, right? Well, yeah, but... oh no. Not like this. Not like this! This is one of the best twists in video game boss history. This boss literally invented the second phase in the entire Souls-like genre. If you kill Smough first, Ornstein will respectively take the power of his compatriot and fight you instead. Whereas if you kill Ornstein's first, Smough will literally just flatten him. After getting a significant power-up, this boss starts to dawn on you as the only remaining force between the final stretch of the game. And I think that's amazing. Such a flashy and incredibly cool boss fight that after beating the game, starts to really dawn on you as one of the best boss fights ever. This damn game just keeps taking names. Dark Souls, through its 12 years of existence, has certainly made a name for itself in the gaming community. And it's clear to see why. This game has so many good things about it. You could almost overlook some of the completely unfinished level design. The devs spent so much time making the game a masterpiece that they actually didn't complete some of the later areas of the game, so they end up being a bit sloppy, and in some cases, rage-inducing. But despite some of these flaws that may or may not break the experience for some people, there's no doubt that this wonderful game has made an impact on so many lives, for better or for worse. So while you guys are out there reveling in your silly first-person shooters of realistic guns, I'll be over here beating Gwyn with my main man, Solaire.